Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver George Pickens is being lied to, and there's nothing he could really do about it. So, once again on Thursday, George Pickens, he had a meltdown on the Steelers sideline and on the field because of his lack of targets, lack of receptions, and just the lack of production that the offense had in general. And once again, Mike Tomlin and other players had to speak to him about his attitude and how he shows his emotions. I seen a report saying that during one of the timeouts that the Steelers called, Mike Tomlin spent the whole time in the huddle talking strictly to George Pickens and nobody else. And I also heard that on the sideline that Mike Tomlin had to speak directly and pull George Pickens aside multiple times. And Mitchell Trubisky, Deontay Johnson, they said they also had to talk to George Pickens about it. So, before I get more into that, let me just talk about how George Pickens is being lied to. Because most of his frustration is because of his lack of targets, because he feels as though he could help the team in more ways than he's being used to do. So, you look at his receptions this season, the most he's had in a game is 6, and it came October 8th against Baltimore. Other than that, he's been around 3 to 5 receptions basically every single game, and some games where he only had 1. And you just look at this past game, yes, he had 5 receptions total, but he only had 19 yards. And you look at all the receptions that he had, you look at his route tree on those receptions, all those were less than 5 yards per route. He was basically running all of his routes to the line of scrimmage, and that's really bad. That's just a really bad play style and really bad play calling to throw George Pickens the ball, or even just have him run routes that are just right at the line of scrimmage. Because when you look at what he does best, and what he does best is make contested catches and catch 50-50 balls and turns those into 90-10 balls down the sideline and gives the Steelers huge plays when needed. But he just has not been used like that. And the reason why I'm saying he's being lied to is how many times have we heard from the coach, whether that be Mike Tomlin, the offense coordinator when Matt Canada was here, and now Mike Sullivan, or even the quarterback, Kenny Pickett, or now Mitchell Trubisky. How many times have we heard them say, we need to get George Pickens more involved, we're going to get George Pickens more involved, throw him the ball more, get him easier throws, kind of move him around the offense, move him around in matchups to get him on mismatches. How many times have we heard that? We heard it many times. We're going to get George Pickens involved. We're going to move him around, make it easier for him because we know what he can do, and he's a very good playmaker. We've heard that many times. And how many times have they actually done it? 0. They haven't done it. They just keep talking about it, trying to get him under control, saying they're going to get him more involved just to kind of keep him under control, make him not kind of lash out, and then they don't even do what they end up saying they're going to do. That's why I'm saying he's being lied to. It's one thing to say that you're going to move him around the offense and then move him around in different positions like the slot, different lineups, but no, they just keep playing him in the same spot, keep having him run the same routes, and can just keep not throwing the ball. They say they're going to switch it up, but they never do switch it up. That's why he's being lied to, and he doesn't even really know it. He might understand that he's not getting the ball, but I don't know if he realizes that he's just being lied to every single time, and they're just trying to keep his emotions in check and make him hear what he wants to hear. So, Mitchell Trubisky, he said he talked to George Pickens on the sideline about his frustrations. Here's what Mitchell Trubisky said that he talked to George Pickens about. Here's his quote. I tried to talk to G on the sidelines. Obviously, he's frustrated. We are all frustrated. The game didn't go down how we wanted it to. We would like to get him the ball more and get him going. He's a special talent. Everyone has to manage their emotions, and we got to drive in the same direction in order to be successful. He cares, man. He cares. He shows it in different ways, and those frustrations come out. But everybody's frustrated. But I talked to him and gave it some time. We will come back tomorrow, go back to work. That's all I know how to do. So, that's what Mitchell Trubisky had to say about George Pickens being frustrated. Now this is what Deontay Johnson had to say about George Pickens and his frustration as well. Here's his quote. "I'm sure he's probably frustrated. My job is just to continue to tell him just to keep his head in the game. You never know when your opportunity is going to come. You can't let one bad play define the whole game for you personally. Once you do that, you take yourself out of the game. I'm always there for him, continuing to try and keep his head in the game, keep his energy up, and we need him at the same time. His energy down, the ball comes his way, and he doesn't make a play like he wanted to, he'll be all right." So I'm gonna start off with Deontay Johnson, because him saying that, obviously I understand where he's coming from, trying to keep his head in the game, don't want him to get too low, because he's dealt with that himself many times when he's dropped the ball and it kind of gets in his head and then he drops the next ball and it continues and continues. So trying to keep your head in the game and not get too low is something Deontay Johnson knows really good about, and that's good on him, trying to get him involved. But Mitchell Trubisky, on the other hand, his quote, saying that you need to get him the ball more. Well, you're the quarterback. Can you not just throw him the ball? You need to get him involved more. Can you not get him more involved? So you kind of heard this many times. That's why I'm saying he's being lied to, because that same quote Mitchell Trubisky said, he's a really talented player. We need to get him involved more. Well, it's kind of week like 12, week 13, week 14. We're down the stretch now. Don't you not think that by now that would happen? Would you not think by now he would be more involved in the offense? If he's not more involved in the offense right now as a wide receiver getting targets and receptions, then he won't be this season. Maybe next season, maybe the year after that, but maybe that's going to be too late. Maybe his frustration is going to keep boiling over and he's going to be out of here. We don't know. So if you're going to tell me that he's a really talented player and you need to get him the ball more, at this point in the season, he should already be getting the ball more. You shouldn't need to talk about it. And he's being lied to, because Kenny Pickett said the exact same thing many times. After every frustrated game George Pickens had, every meltdown on the sideline, meltdown on the field that you see George Pickens and the announcers talk about, Kenny Pickett right after the game said the exact same quote. I could probably go find you 2 to 3 quotes just from the season of Kenny Pickett saying the exact same thing Mitchell Trubisky just said after this game. I could go probably find you 2 to 3 quotes from Matt Canada saying the exact same thing. You need to get him more involved. You're the offensive coordinator, get him more involved. You're the quarterback, get him more involved. But no, he's being lied to, and he's just keeping his frustrations under control, and that's what these players and the coaches are trying to do. But I understand why he's frustrated. He believes he's the best player on the field, that nobody could cover him, and he could really make an impact. And he does make an impact whenever he is targeted. That's the thing. That's why he's frustrated, because he does make impact on the game, but he's just not given the opportunities to. And he knows if he's not given the opportunities to, the Steelers will lose the game. And it's not really based off of just targets alone. He's not really frustrated that he's not getting the ball. When you look at his emotions on the Steelers field when they're on offense, it's not necessarily he's not getting the ball, but whenever a bad play happens and like the quarterback throws it out of bounds or throws it into the dirt, just to any player, not even just him, he's mad that the offense is not going. I don't believe it's specifically just him not getting the ball, but just the entire offense being really bad as a whole is why he's a lot frustrated, both on the sideline and voicing it. There's one time, even in the game, where it showed him kind of arguing with the quarterback and the offense coordinator on the sideline and kind of yelling at him and saying, "Don't say that to me," or something like in that nature, if you kind of read lips. So at this point, frustration is boiling over. Many people on the Steelers are frustrated. It's not just him. You see it in the interviews that Najee Harris does. You see it in the interviews that Minkah Fitzpatrick does. You see it with Pat Freiermuth. You see it with Deontay Johnson sometimes on the field. And now you've seen it with George Pickens a lot. But George Pickens is one that usually only gets talked about. The other guys don't get talked about when they boil frustration over on the sideline, have arguments on the field, or even say stuff in the media. None of those guys get talked about, but it's only George Pickens. But George Pickens is right, and he should be frustrated because this offense does suck. The quarterback does suck, and they lied to him. So with that being said, Let me know down in the comments below. How do you feel about this? How do you feel about this? And do you believe that George Pickens is being lied to? And they just keep saying this to kind of keep him under control, but they're never really going to get him involved in the game. And why do you believe George Pickens is mad? Do you believe it's because of his targets or just the offense in general? I believe it's kind of a mixture of both. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel down below as well if you like Steelers content, analysis, and reports. Like the video, turn on post notifications down below for the channel as well, so you get notified whenever I post the next Steelers video. I post every single day, so if you want to stay up to tune every single day and catch all the videos, whether that be film breakdowns, breaking news, just news coverage in general, and reactions, turn on notifications for this channel. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys all later. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.